Hello and a very warm welcome. We are here with a very expertise and very emotional panel. My name is Kim Scholze. As a moderator today and as the host here, we have Accelerating Circularity as a project which changes the world. We have partners of ACPE here, and our title is Challenges and Opportunities of Circular Economy. We have a format which is called Sympathy Lab, and this is what you will see in the next slide over here, which enhances and contributes to the industry in various fields of play, but mainly in sustainability. We want all of us to change, and we want all of us to exchange information, knowledge, and personal dedication and passion, and this is why I'm very proud. As said, I'm the moderator, but the words belong to my guests. So on my right-hand side, Petra Schweiger. She's running Accelerating Circularity project in Europe. You will present yourself a little later.
Yes.
We have, and I practiced this one, Dobromira Vasileva from textile, and we have Martin Mayershofer from Sympathy. So, as said, my name is Kim Scholze, I'm the moderator, and I want you to present yourself in 2 or 3 sentences on your personal introduction, and the brand comes later. So please, Peter.
Thank you so much, Kim. Thanks so much for inviting us, having us today. My name is Petra. Yes, I coordinate and facilitate the European project of Accelerating Circularity. Not sure if anybody was here last year, hearing my presentation through EUG. Accelerating Circularity is a non-profit organization out of the US.
I interrupt you. You should present yourself.
Okay, Petra, Austrian by origin. I have been in the textile and apparel industry for like 20 years. I was always in Asia, working in supply chain, primarily for brands, but always like product development, buying, sourcing, whatever. So I think I know the industry really well. And for the past 2 years, I work for a non-profit organization called Accelerating Circularity.
Thank you. A hard one, right?
Hello, thank you for having me here today as well. My name is Dobromira Vasileva. I'm from Bulgaria, and my passion about circularity started like maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And I'm part of the textile company today, part from the sustainability department, and I'm really happy to be part of this transition in the industry.
I'm so curious. Thank you. Martin.
Yeah, hello. Together, my name is Martin. I'm a polymer chemist by heart, so working for almost 20-25 years in the polymer industry in different roles. And the most important part for me in joining this project today is trying to get the textile industry more in a circular direction, and based on the polyester technology we're really working on for many, many years within our company.
Thank you very much. So now we start with you. Now, yes, you're a lot bad.
Right.
Please tell us who you are and what connects you to recycling. This is in 4 to 5 sentences.
All right. So Accelerating Circularity, it's a bit misleading, our name. We know circularity has different approaches. We look specifically at textile to textile recycling. What we do is we look at post-consumer, which means we have established collectors and sorters in our range. We work with mechanical recyclers, chemical recyclers for cotton, cellulosic, polyester, so different kinds of technologies, which at the end also means we work with different yarns and fabric mills. Our regional scope is Europe, that is the EU 27, we've got Morocco, Turkey, UK, Norway, and Switzerland included. And yes, as I said, we're looking specifically at textile to textile recycling of post-consumer textiles at scale. When we talk about at scale, can I still mention that?
Of course.
When we talk about at scale, that means also different things for us. It's for one, of course, volume. So what we try to do is we at least want to meet minimum quantities per segment. On the other hand, it means also to us that we look at it from a systems perspective. We have a lot of different partners. You see them all here in our group. We work with collectors, sorters, different technologies, yarn spinners, fabric mills, and a lot of brands as well. Everybody is sitting in these groups because it is super important that everybody in this circular system really also understands what impact, what implication everyone's decision has within a circular system.
Thank you. I know it's hard for you to stop and interrupt.
Yes. And so as I said, I'm part of the sustainability department at Textile. Textile is a brand owned by the company Eurotex. The company started 23 years ago its activities in the beginning as a wholesale of second-hand clothing and later on with sorting for reuse. But nowadays, Textile is providing recovery solutions and is working towards applying more circular and sustainable solutions for a closed-loop textile ecosystem. Our main expertise is sorting for reuse and distribution. Our main activities are based in Bulgaria, but we also have operations in Romania, Greece, and Chile. We utilize unwanted textile from different streams. We have post-consumer, we collect post-industrial, pre-consumer, post-consumer commercial waste as well. And we think that in order for us to be up to date, not only technology-wise, but also as a learning and a know-how needed for this transition, we need to work in partnerships in our complex value chain in order to make the transition happen.
Thank you very much. I mean, we will come to this later, how this comes together and the full year perspective of 1 year SCPE. But before that, Martin, please introduce your company.
Okay, Sympathy Technologies, maybe some of the guys, at least in the audience, will know what we do. Basically, we're quite well known for membrane technology based on polyester materials, combining these materials with different types of fabrics for the outdoor, for the apparel, for the workwear industry, but also for the footwear industry. And our clear goal and our clear focus within the company is to concentrate ourselves on the polyester technologies, on the membrane side, and on the textile side as well, in order to get better access to a circular economy, sooner or later at least, and avoiding hazardous chemicals in the process of manufacturing and of using the materials. And major goal for us within the project to really get the polyester circle proven on a technical scale, industrial scale, and that's why we're really enthusiastic about being part of this project.
And before we deep dive, who of you knew before Accelerating Circularity project? Hand sign, please. So, proven, please stay superficial, and not superficial because superficial, but give the whole frame, give the holistic view on what do you do, what did you expect a year ago, and what are the two pillars of your foundation.
Yeah. So I want to backtrack a little bit. So our European project started in spring 2021, where we were convening 80 plus working group members, really understanding, researching, mapping and modeling the circular system for textile to textile recycling in our regional scope. So it took us around 10 months, and all the work that was done during that time was really leading us and channeling into our pilot phase. It was always clear we want to run pilots as well, but at scale. So we kicked off end April 2022, so we are a year in. We have a couple of learnings already. But when we started off, so we have to date around 40 companies within this group. That's quite massive, I would think. The way we organized it, we have two groups. One that we call cellulosic, that is around mechanical recyclers for cotton polyester, and then we have another group for polyester that is around chemical recyclers for polyester and the thermomechanical equipment suppliers. So each group has the whole value chain in it, meaning we have collectors and sorters, they are the ones providing feedstock, and it's not brands with their take-back programs. We have then, of course, the recyclers, we have the yarn spinners, fabric mills, and of course brands. So this is how we run the projects, the pilots, and within each group we have then value chains set up, which means they are on a smaller scale working on the entire flow.
I interrupt you for a second, because seeing 1 year ago, how did you choose the members, or did the members choose you, or what happened? Because 1.5 years ago there was nothing.
Exactly.
So this is
the
important to
members-
understand the project.
Yeah, so it was actually really, I'm not surprised that not many know us. It was a lot of word by mouth. So when we started off, people were starting talking about it, really very loosely coming into our working group meetings. But then, yeah, we did attract 40 plus members to really join this dedicated pilot phase. We still have members joining, by the way, but no brands, I'm sorry to say. We still have members to join, but what we did then, I asked the coordinator, I had to look, so who is coming into our pilot phase, which very often determine also what is it that we're gonna do. So I really want to explain that based on a cellulosic story. I know I need to be high level, but the most critical segment in textile to textile recycling is actually the yarn spinner, because they are the ones receiving the fiber, understanding the fiber, and knowing what to do with it. That sounds simple, but it's extremely complicated and technical. So for me, it was super important to have the yarn spinners covered, because then I can go downstream and upstream, understanding what kind of fabric I can make and what do I need, not only from the recycler, but especially from the collector and sorter. Because they not only need to know the composition, they need to know the color, they need to know the level of pre-processing. So are they supposed to take off trims? What about prints? What about any kind of embellishments and so on? So I've definitely learned early on that the technology is not really the most important, it's really the yarn spinner, and that really defines everything.
Okay, thank you.
That was one of my major learnings.
And seeing from the partnership side, Supertex decided quite early, and then we come to your partnership, but quite early to contribute, right? You want to explain the reasons?
So we were in the workshops quite early on, and then there were some discussions back and forth, but then we decided, okay, let's be part of the project, because we think it's rather unique up to now we are talking about the polyester part for us, so we're not that much involved in the cellulosics part, but with the polyester part, to really try to come to a level of industrial scale to prove how does recycling of polyester-based fabrics work on an industrial scale with materials that are existing in the market today. Not just selecting something we might have somewhere, but really going to the collectors and sorters and tell them, okay, you have certain material available, and could this be a feedstock for our industry sooner or later, or even much sooner than later? But let's try to find out what are the hurdles, the obstacles, problems we might come up with in this approach, and that's something that really fostered us to be part of this project, because we have never seen that before on this level, in this collaborative approach, to really look into the details at an industrial scale with existing materials that are collected on the market today, not pre-selected somewhere.
Thank you, Martin. And seeing our preparation conversations and discussions, there are so many things to clarify, to discuss, and to transparent communication. But seeing your emotional, what happened this year, there was a specific moment when you both met or collaborated, because that changed the game. So maybe the words to you, what happened, how did you come across this project, and where did you get into in concrete happiness?
Thank you for this question. So we as a collector and sorter, after our main activities, we have big volumes of textiles that are not proper for use or any recycling. So managing this fraction of the collected unwanted textile is in the focus of our company for a long time. Even 10 years ago, we set a target to achieve 0.3 rate of disposal of all the sorted material. Of course, we achieved this goal with the help of the textiles being energy recovered, but we are always trying to recycle more and more. And this was an opportunity for us to be part of Accelerating Circularity project. We saw an opportunity for us to learn how we can utilize this part of non-proper for use part of the collected textiles, and that's why we wanted to learn more about sorting for recycling. And even now we are installing our own mechanical recycling facility. So this is how we joined the project, and we're happy to be part of it.
Thank you so much. And the words to you, Petra. What, if it comes to concrete, like facts, figures, and concrete solutions, what everybody of us takes home, because that's already happening?
We have in Europe an incredible landscape of recyclers. They're just waiting for you, and especially yarn spinners, fabric mills. No, I think it's fantastic. We had the conversation, okay, how does recycling look today? Yes, as I said, mechanical recycling has been out there for many, many years. It's incredible. We have so many. They can do a lot of things already. Nobody can do 100% post-consumer or 50% post-consumer, but I don't even think this should be the goal right now. But there are yarn spinners that can handle it and so on. When it comes to chemical recyclers, here too, we have Lenzing, where Fibra has been around. So it's not, in my opinion, always chasing the latest and the newest, the most exciting. We have already a great infrastructure. We have established collectors and sorters that are really now trying to understand how to sort according to requirements. So that's like a big thing, but it needs iteration rounds as well. So it's not necessarily done with once or twice. When it comes to polyester recycling, the molecular chemical recyclers, a lot of them are outside the lab already. They may not be at industrial scale, but they are going through, they are learning, and this is going to be really quick, that the facilities can take a lot of feedstock. And also one thing I want to say, a lot of those ones are set up for the packaging industry, not necessarily for the textile industry. So as an industry, we also have to make sure that they learn and understand the feedstock we provide as an industry so that they can adjust accordingly. The most important though is like looking at end of life is important, but we're talking about a circle here, right? So end of life becomes beginning of life one day again. And this is absolutely important to understand the different outputs of the various recyclers processes, and to really make sure to understand it and how to bring it back into supply chain and to use it and to boost the demand for it. That's the most important, and that's doable today. So there is no reason to wait. As I said, you may not be able to achieve extremely high contents, but it's there and it's doable. So what we definitely need is a bit of stamina to go through, to sit down, try to understand. It's a lot of basic work that I do on a daily basis, and yes, sometimes it is a bit boring, but that is the foundation, and it looks good.
And this is, of course, the last words in the last question, but in between that, because your future wishes are the most important thing, how we can encourage or contribute. Seeing the cycle. Question to you, Martin. What were your biggest learning working together with Petra, and what is your recommendation for knowledge or for getting involved as seeing an ingredient?
So if you look at the biggest learnings for us so far, so the project will last for more or less 1 year, so we're still in the middle of the project. But what we have learned so far already is, okay, the first step, so it's Dobie and other collectors and sorters involved in the project, they need to get the information from all of us and the input from all of us. What do we need later on in order to be able to really make high quality apparel once again from end-of-life garments that are in there? So that's something I think we anticipated it already, that this might be one of the biggest learnings we will take with us so far, but that was really quite clear after this year for us that we have to work closely together within the whole supply chain to get to the products we want to have later on. And it's not just, okay, here we are the brand or the ingredient brand, we want to have this, try to find some ways to provide us with these materials, but really to discuss back and forth and to really get engaged and try to understand what the obstacles are at a deeper source of the supply chain. So these are definitely one of the most important parts we have learned, and I think it's at the same time something for the audience or for the brands working in here or sitting in here. So try to get really involved, try to get to understand what is necessary to get to really a circular economy based on textiles, and do not hesitate to take a first step, even when you know, okay, it's not perfect yet. So we know it all, but let's try to get forward there.
Thank you, Martin. And the most important thing for me was to understand what's the concrete thing in there. So if we see it from the TechCycle perspective as one of the programs or projects which are discussed is it scalable? Okay, you do kind of pilot projects over the years, so this is if you get a little more involved in the communication on websites and your interviews you do, then in that moment, the discussion starts, okay, it's a pilot project, it would not be scalable. So seeing this figures and facts you already delivered this year, can you contribute a little from your expertise and what happened over the months?
Yes. So we thought in the beginning when we received the requirements from our recycler partners that it's going to be pretty much easy process. We have this expertise in sorting for reuse, and we thought it's going to be not that difficult that it turned out to be, because sorting for recycling is a completely different activity. We were faced with requirements and having all this abundance of collected textiles. It was very difficult. It turned out to be difficult to find the needed compositions and to be in line with these requirements. And also we find some challenges along the way. We had requirements for specific color. We have requirements for like no oil contamination, and it's for us very difficult to determine if this contamination is oil-based. And also we needed the time to remove all the trims and disruptors in order to ensure smooth recycling process and good results in the next stages. So one of the learnings we got so far is that we definitely need our lead time as a collector and sorter in order to be in line with the requirements we received.
Thank you so much. So seeing this in the concrete future of recyclability, summing it up, it is knowledge, it's expertise, and it's practical trials. So when we had our conversations, you said pretty clear that the forecasting, the moments when things need to be collected, etc., transferred this in the knowledge and wordings everybody can understand. So the word's up to you. What's next?
What's next?
Your wish to the audience, to the outdoor industry.
Well, what's next? As I said, there is a lot of infrastructure out there already, and I think it's absolutely important to sit down and understand what can be done and really implement it already. I don't think there is any reason to wait any longer for any perfect solution, that's clear. It's a trial and error. There is no failure at all. And it's pretty much, I mean, we all come from the industry. We are, most of us, probably also product people. It's a lot about research and development as well. So things do go wrong, things do go right. A bit sense of flexibility needs to come in for sure, but a collect and sorter is not going to sort for a particular recycling technology if there is not any purchase order behind. That's not where we are right now. So for all of us to move, we all need to move in the same pace. That's super important. So we cannot really expect that some are a little bit faster. It is a circle, and that's how we need to interact also with each other.
Thank you. And we get to question and answer round in a second. Is there something you would use the stage for right now?
I would like to say that we definitely understand that it's going to be difficult for a while, and we know that still much is unclear, but we believe that we need to leave the linear models behind. It is challenging times, but it's encouraging as well, and we all need to learn from one another. We need to experiment together to scale and to innovate and to make the change a reality.
And how do they get in contact with you?
I will distribute my business card.
So please take it.
Yes. So, yes.
Thank you. Martin, what's next from your side?
So for us, we're waiting for first materials to be available, to be tested, to do different experiments with. So that's the practical part. But from a philosophy part, in terms of our company, I think it's really important to stay committed. So as the brands, to be really part of the process, to be, at least to a certain extent, be ready for compromises, for sharing ideas, and maybe even share volumes later on, because otherwise it will be difficult for one or for the other brand to, oh, I want to have this, I want to have that, I want to have that. At least for the very beginning, I think it will be a bit of a compromise, not a technical compromise, but more or less a logistics compromise. And we're willing to do that, and hopefully we will be able to motivate some others as well to make the circular economy happen.
Thank you. So I have a wish myself, which is not only asking questions now. There are terminology which you do not really get, but if you understood what's happening here, please take it home, take it to your brands, speak within the company, and take it to the teams. So if there is any sourcing meeting, supply chain meeting, marketing meeting, understanding what circularity will be next, please accelerate the message in your brands, because otherwise it will not happen. Open for questions. Who has a question? Our presentation must have been brilliant. So your presentation, because no questions are there. Ah, super good. Can you please say your name and who you're working for before asking your question?
Hi, my name is Emma and I work for a small startup that is called Newly Circular. So my question, I would say, is mostly for Petra. And I was really curious because the name of the project that you're working for is literally accelerating circularity. But as of now, I understand that the focus of this panel was just the part of recycling, which is obviously the last step in the circularity system. But there are many steps we can take before we get to the recycling. So I wanted to know if this project also focuses on things such as refurbishing, manufacturing, and so on. Or not?
No, we don't. That's what I was saying also in the beginning. We specifically look at textile to textile recycling. So that is definitely the last resort, right? And we here in Europe, we are also bound to the textile waste hierarchy. So here, whatever is no longer rewearable, reusable, is actually the feedstock that is supposed to go into textile to textile recycling. Reality is that this is the feedstock recyclers cannot always use, because it's really the wild mix of different contaminated, dirty, oil stained, whatever, different stuff. So by really trying to go through these flows and understanding that, wait a minute, there is really something wrong with it, we need to rethink and review everything. But to answer your questions, no, we don't do anything else than that.
But this is a super good question, because it also shows again how much we are in the bubble. Because the most obvious thing on getting something started seems to be the solution at the end. But at the beginning, of course, eco-design and giving somehow contributive guidelines is the most important aspect.
Yeah.
Thanks for posting. Somebody else? Something? Questions? Are you ready with your business cards?
Yes.
So, thanks a lot and have a good day on the show.
Thank you.